Welcome to Princess Lillian's Garden. In this video, I'll try and show you what I know about yam diseases and the remedies we can use to prevent and treat them. There's always viruses, fungus, bacteria in the soil. They're a natural part of the ecosystem. Also, there is nematodes, different types. There's a specific yam nematode, Scutellonema brevis. If it's in the soil in just a little amount, this is not going to be a big problem for the plants because it exists there. It lives in the roots. But if you have yam growing in your soil, this nematode starts to multiply greatly. It starts to multiply because the yam is susceptible to it, and it causes dry rot in the yam. It makes holes, and then viruses, bacteria, and fungi can make their way in to the skin. The nematode multiplying actually causes dry rot in yam. But the actions of the fungus, viruses, and bacteria results in wet rot. This takes about 40% of the yam crop and it becomes damaged. That a farmer would know. You may not make it to the market. You have to judge and know the ones you would use for amala. Let's look on the other. There's another hole here. It's very small. So the nematodes come along and made a very small hole that we could not even see. But after the very tiny hole that the nematode has made, some fungus have been able to gain entry into the yam. So if you see a lot of this over your harvest, the soil needs to be treated. And one way of treating this is to use a cover crop, mucuna, or African marigold. There's other treatments that you can give to the soil to make sure that you don't have those nematodes in your soil. Unless if you have it in the past year, so that you don't have it again. Before you are ready to grow yams again, you plant some cover crop. They will get rid of these nematodes. The farmer needs to be able to identify those holes. This yam has more holes and they look bigger. See, the nematodes have been digging probably while this was actually in the ground. See? The farmer should not send this to market. Oh, this is a very serious disease infestation. So this yam has been utterly ruined. See, from the single entry, there could be other entries as well. There's another entry here. Once the nematodes get in, now this is quite small. Yeah, once the nematodes get in, because the nematodes are microscopic, but they have this very sharp mouth called stylets. they used to pierce the skin of the yam. And then the fungus, the viruses, they all go in. So the farmer can do something with this yam if he had taken it off while at the farm. It wouldn't be this bad. Just those holes will show you that something will be able to enter. So transporting it all the way from the farm to the market, and then the market people keeping it for days before they sell it, the damage is just going to continue, because once those organisms get in, they just take a hold and they carry on. So you don't want to go to the whole effort of planting your yam and end up cutting all of it away, because all of that is damaged. If the farmer had kept this, they could have used this as ware yam. That is the one they would eat, or they can do some more procedure to it. They can dry it and use it to make amala. That will keep for almost a year. Here's another one. This one has wet rot. You see? It's different from what this is. This is caused by a virus. Fungus. This is caused by fungus. So we want to avoid all these things by making sure that our soil is neat. We don't want soil that is disease ridden. See, the entire yam right round is got the bacteria and the viruses, and then it's also got dry rot on it. So the yam is being wasted, and that's a lot of wastage. About 1/3, that's like 30% of the yam that is grown is wasted. If this had been taken and processed, it wouldn't be wasted, because it wouldn't be yam anymore. You make it into something else that can be stored for a longer period of time, or you cook it. Yam is used as a cash commodity. You can give it in exchange for a lot of things. If you are aware of these things, it will help you with your yam growing. That's if you're growing yam on a large scale. These tiny holes mean a big problem is being allowed to go in. They are made by the little nematodes. And I'll tell you how to clear the soil of these nematodes naturally. You can plant mucuna. That's by crop rotation. You'd plant mucuna after you've harvested the yam, and you see that there's a lot of them that has this. If it's just a few, you know what I mean, they exist in the soil naturally all the time. But when it becomes a lot, and you see a lot of this on your yams, then you know you have to plant the mucuna and let it stay there and not use that portion of land. You do crop rotation for the following year, and then you come back to this land again, and the mucuna would have, the roots of the mucuna is a legume plant. It's also a green manure. So it would have absorbed all the nematodes in the soil. Also, it's a nitrogen fixing plant. So when you have it in the soil, it helps increase the nitrogen level, it helps increase the amount of earthworms, and this also fights the nematodes. Because when the earthworms are there, the soil is well aerated. Just that ecology, that ecosystem will reduce the number of the nematodes in your soil. That means the bacteria will also go down and they will not be attacking your yam, causing so much damage. Can you imagine, out of all this yam, okay, maybe we can manage to get something out of this. That's if the bottom has not been attacked. Okay, the bottom looks all right. So it means out of the whole of that yam, when I cut away these bits, because I need to check, okay, it's all right. That's less than 1/3. This is the only piece out of the 2 yams that somebody can still use to make food. This wastage is very high. We need to control it right from the farm, because that's where the organisms get into the yam. They are present in the soil. We need to plant mucuna, plant African marigold. It's also called Aztec marigold. I'll put all the scientific names and all the different plants that we can use. If you find them available, then you use them. You can also use dahlia if you have dahlia in your region. You can use dahlia, you can use daisy, but the best 2 are the mucuna and the African marigold for controlling these nematodes and the diseases that attack root crops. It also attacks tomatoes and peppers, but right now it doesn't show on the body of the tomato because we are not harvesting the tomato root. We are harvesting the tomato fruits. Finally, do not plant okra where you're planting yam, because okra is very susceptible to these nematodes. So okra attracts the nematodes and allows it to multiply, and then the okra dies, but the nematode would have multiplied because the okra helps them to grow very well. You don't want to plant okra where you're planting yams. Yellowing leaves with brown spots. That's a sign of problem. Although some other issues can mimic this. For example, I've not watered this yam for a long time. I've not been too well. So this leaf turned yellow. But if that was not the case, and I find a yellow leaf like this on a yam plant, it will suggest that there are nematodes and other diseases in the soil. This is the mucuna bean, black. It's a legume and it's a green manure. This is also mucuna. Plant this mucuna as companion to your yam to help reduce nematodes in your soil. If there's a serious infestation, then you need to do crop rotation, so the entire place is planted with the mucuna. This mucuna has a lot of its own advantages too, so you're not just leaving that area fallow. For when you harvest this mucuna, it sells very well, not as the yam, but you are saving your soil and your future yam crop, but you are also getting mucuna beans as your harvest, because you need to entirely cover the place with these plants. It's not companion planting. If the yam is in the ground and the mucuna is in the ground and the marigold is in the ground, the ones that enter the yam will be in the yam. The ones that enter the marigold and the mucuna will get killed. So it means you can't plant the yam in there. You have to let the mucuna be there so that it's most likely that they'll get rid of majority of the nematode organisms and your soil will be less. It doesn't have to be completely free, but not so much that every single yam is having such holes and your crop is getting damaged. The list of the plants that are best not planted if you're a yam grower, and also a list of the plants that can help deter the nematodes. But the mucuna is still the best. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll be able to grow better yams. See you in my next video.